little bit. So that's the way you would do it standing. Go ahead and get on your side. Face them, yeah, face them back.
Does everybody know what Trendelenburg gate is? No? Before you go any further.
Yeah, I know, I should have touched on it last class too.
All right, so Trendelenburg gate looks like this. Let's see, how am I going to do it? I'll do it this way. All right, so Trendelenburg gate is.
Also known as 6th Street Gate.
You gotta get the.
I see.
So the gate, if you have a weakness in your abductors of the hip, abductors will do this. They will also do this. Okay. So which leg is affected when I do that?
The right.
How many for the left? How many for the right? Left? Right? Don't care?
Which hip is dropping?
Can you do it again?
Do it again. Which hip is
Oh
dropping?
man, you're gonna make me.
The right was dropping.
And then one more time after this out, I want to see too. Just make sure. So which hip is dropping?
Right.
So which leg is affected? Left. Right. So we just did that on Andrew right now when I was palpating his right glute medius. Shifted, right?
So I drop, meaning I'm not using this
Muscle
to raise it.
to keep it stable.
Yes. So the affected side, as I do this, is the.
She does it really good.
Left, right?
Wow, those videos are going to be worth something. Yeah.
The
So,
affected side is the left side. Boom.
so don't think that the glute medius hikes the hip up. It prevents it from dropping. There's a difference there. Okay.
Right.
Now it can hike the hip up.
It just can't
Right.
support this.
I mean, it would have to do this. Tilts my pelvis up. Yes, it does, but that's not what you're doing in gait.
Right. It's more of a preventive.
So I will now I'll take my Trendelenburg and stroll on down the road here.
All right. So that's the way you can palpate it in standing. I like to do it in sideline because we're testing for hip abduction anyway. Greater trochanter, come off of it a little bit. Medial, superior. I put his leg into an external rotation, an extension, and an abduction. The reason I do that is to try to get the IT band kind of out of the picture on a slack. Ask him to hold it, and I apply some resistance, and then glute med sticks into my fingers. Okay? And you can see Andrew's a little weak because he couldn't maintain that external rotation. We can address that later on.
Tuesday,
Another
then we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right, glute maximus. Go ahead and face that way. Standing position, posterior approach. Start at PSIS. So we're starting somewhere and we're traveling down, and we're not just poking on the glute max. The glute max is the contour of the buttocks. PSIS, I travel straight down to the muscle belly. I'm on it. Am I done? I'm on the glute maximus.
Do an action.
You got to do an action. It's a muscle, right? Or resisted action. So I could have him extend his hip, and it comes into my finger. Go ahead and get on your stomach. Get him off and off of the table. He's okay. He's fine.
Are you gonna tell us positions whenever we do?
To tell you the truth, like in the exam, it's kind of your choice.
Okay.
You know, if you get like a glute max and a glute med, and you get them on the table, you just stay there for the next one or something like that.
Okay.
If you're in standing and you're comfortable with doing it standing, it's fine. With some of the leg positions like the hamstring, it's just easier to see if they're prone like this, and if he's already in there, you know, it's you can keep him in that position, but the choice is up. This choice is up to you.
Okay.
Whatever you like, whatever you're studying, whatever you're more comfortable with. PSIS. I find it. Come down. And then in prone, it's a little bit different. I want him to flex the knee and then extend the hip. See how it draws up right into my thumb? Go ahead and come back down.
Wow.
Go ahead and
Look
come
at
up.
that big muscle.
It is a big muscle. And it should be a strong muscle too. And you'd be surprised a lot of times. It's very weak. And the muscle is so big and has so much density that it should be strong. Density, dense tissue. When you bend the knee, you get the hamstrings out of the picture, so that you can focus on more of the glute max. Okay. Any questions about the hip? Yeah. Let's just go through 3 things on the knee real quick. They're all kind of in line with each other, and then you guys are done. Go ahead and stand up and place them. Just some bony landmarks on the knee. The patella, quite obvious. Give me the borders of the patella. So, you know, lateral, medial border. Is this the
Base.
the base? This is the apex, right? So give me the borders of it, and then you can kind of come towards the middle and say this, and that's the patella. That way, I mean, you can travel down the quad, over the quad tendon, patella tendon, or patella ligament. But if you give me the medial and lateral, you know, borders, apex and base, and then go to the patella, that'll be fine. Okay? So if I'm going to the medial and lateral epicondyles, if I use the middle part of the patella and come, you know, travel posteriorly, I'm on the femoral condyles. If I go up superiorly, you kind of get that little, you know, ridge or kind of scoops out. Those are the epicondyles. Okay, so I can either start in the middle of the patella, travel to the condyles, and go up a little bit to where I'm on the epicondyles, or I can start at the base of the patella and then just go posteriorly, and they stick out more than the condyles. The condyles are kind of underneath, and the epicondyles kind of, you know, protrude a little bit more. When you're traveling medially, you don't have to travel as far, and you're right on it. Laterally is a little bit further, and it says it in your notes that the lateral's 3 fingers and the medial's 2 fingers back. But as long as you're traveling back and you feel it, I'm not concerned with, you know, how many fingers it takes to get there. And then, oh yeah, so I'm scooping this way, but when you have it in your exam, if you have medial, go towards the medial side with both fingers and say that's the medial. You know, don't give me, you know, both, well, that's the lateral medial. Just do the medial or the lateral. But I was just kind of, generally speaking, that's how you get there. And then the joint line, same thing. Use a patella, go towards the condyles, travel inferiorly towards the foot, and there's a little divot right there. If I go too far, I'm on the tibial plateau. That's what I said last time.
You're saying, I just made fun of it.
You're right, I did say that. I wanted to say it again so that this class made fun of me just as much as the class did. So tibial plateau is right here. There's a little divot in between the femoral condyles and tibial plateau. That ridge is the joint line. Clinical situation, you know, palpate the joint line with McMurray's test and some other provocation tests to maybe rule in or rule out maybe a meniscal type lesion or injury. Can't really palpate the meniscus, but if they have joint line tenderness, you know, there could be some involvement there.